What's up guys, my name's Matt. I'm a full-time day trader. For those of you that are new to my channel, I share trading tips and insights on YouTube and Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, I recommend checking out my channel on there, Matto and Trades. But today I'm gonna be answering one of the most requested questions that I get, which is to do a breakdown of my entire trading setup. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna take you guys on a walkthrough of my home office where I trade from, and then I'm also gonna go on a complete breakdown of my entire trading setup, all the hardware that I use to trade from, and all the software and tools that I use to trade with. Now, I want to emphasize that I do not think you need everything that I have to be a consistent and to be a good trader. The more important thing is the skill that you have and you develop as a trader, and the additional monitors, the additional technology and tools and everything is just luxuries to have. So I want to emphasize that the skill of trading is the most important thing, and I do not think you need all this stuff to necessarily be a good trader, but it does help as you progress to add these different tools, multiple monitors and things like that. But I know a lot of people want to see it, so I decided to go ahead and make a video covering everything that I use for trading. And before I waste any more time, let's get into it. So just gonna walk down here. As you can see, this is my trading office down here. So here is my trading setup, and there's some of my studio lighting, so please ignore that. But this is gonna be a little bit informal, guys. I'm just gonna kind of walk through the office here and show you. So I have a little bit of a background stuff set up. A couple Omega watches. I'm a big Omega fan, nothing crazy, but this is just some things that I like to have in the background of my videos that I've set up. But the main thing that I want to talk about today is this trading setup. As you can see, I have 6 27-inch monitors. I'm gonna be breaking down the exact specs on these, and if you want to see anything that I use exactly in the description of this video, I will post links to everything that I use. But just really quick on a high level overview, I'm just going to cover on the right side of my screens here. I typically do just candle charts. This is the Thinkorswim application. I use 2 different instances of it. And then in the middle where I actually execute my trades from is where I'm looking at order flow on the footprint charts. This is a Sierra chart with a custom setup. The screen above that, I typically just look for news events. And then on the left hand, my primary tool that I use for analyzing order flow here is the book map, heat map, and the depth of market that I'm able to analyze orders real time as they come in the market. And then above that, I just have Discord and First Squawk, which is a Twitter X page that I watch for real-time kind of news alerts as they come out in the market. But this is the overall setup, guys. You can see here, my desktop is a custom-built desktop, and I'll go over all the specs of that and break it down in a lot more detail here in just a minute. And then I have another kind of mini desk where I use to do video editing and to kind of store all of my camera and separate gear over there. But this is it, guys, and we'll take a look at the desktop now. So looking over here, I do also have an uninterrupted power supply and UPS that can power my desktop and all my monitors in the event of an emergency temporarily. And looking at the desktop here, I'll go and break this open and show you guys everything that is running it, everything that I selected to custom build it, and give you kind of a breakdown of all the specs. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is first go over the specs of the PC build. This is the heart of the system here. Then I'm going to go over all the accessories that I have that I use, and then how I'm able to connect that to all 6 of my LG monitors. So running down, I have a little sheet here that I used when I built this, but the case is the Fractal Design Torrent RGB ATX mid-tower case. I'll post the link again in the description for all of these things. And the motherboard is the MSI MPG Z690 Carbon Wi-Fi ATX LGA 1700 motherboard. And looking at the graphics card here, I'm running a Zotac RTX 3090. It's a little bit of an older graphics card now, but I've replaced it once under warranty. The first one overheated, but this one's been good to go, and it's actually almost brand new because the first one was replaced under warranty, so I really didn't need to upgrade. Now, as far as the processor, I'm running an Intel i9-12900K, and on the cooling side, in addition to the fans that came with the case, for the CPU cooling, I went with an Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 280. It's a 72.8 CFM liquid CPU cooler. So it's a water cooling system. You can see these pipes run to the CPU there on the motherboard and cool it with water, and that recycles and runs back through this basically intercooler that's cooled down with the fans. Now, as far as the RAM, I'm running Vengeance 32 gigabytes of RAM. It's DDR5, and I'm running a Samsung 2 terabyte SSD. I forget exactly which model. 32 gigabytes has been sufficient for me. I may increase that, but so far I have not. It's very fast DDR5 memory, and so I haven't needed to do anything there. So that is the meat and potatoes of the case. I do have more RGB lighting in here, but I have it just turned off because I just didn't think it was necessary. It just kind of sits in the corner here. But I do like this little bit of lighting that I can customize on the GPU. Looking at the glass case as well, that's pretty cool. It is glass on both sides, but the other side is the back, so you can't really see too much into the glass. But it is a very cool case by Fractal Design. It has a lot of ventilation and cooling. It has fans both on the bottom and on the front that helps suck the air through. It pushes air through the front and pulls air through the front here on the back of that water cooler for the CPU. Now, without further ado, we'll go through how I have all this connected and the accessories that I have and how I connect to the monitors. And one more thing here, I am, as far as power supply, running the Corsair HX1000 Platinum, which is a 1000 watt Platinum certified ATX power supply. So now looking at how everything is connected, first of all, as you can see, I really prefer wired for everything. I prefer maximum stability. I do have Wi-Fi to the computer, however, I have that disabled and primarily use Ethernet as my primary connection. And everything for my audio and monitors, everything, I do not like to do any wireless, keyboard and mouse, even wired. I like to minimize any kind of variables, and I like maximum stability and maximum speed and reliability for my trading setup. So from connections perspective, I have 3 monitors running on DisplayPort 1.4 here, and that is pretty much all that the RTX 3090 can handle alone, just as far as outputs go. And then on the motherboard itself, it has an output for a DisplayPort 1.4. And if you have a DisplayPort 1.4, you can actually use a DisplayPort splitter that allows you to split multiple monitors off that. So I have one connection to my motherboard that's DisplayPort 1.4 going to this Prophecy connector. It's a DisplayPort MST hub. That's what you have to have if you have DisplayPort 1.4, and I'm able to connect that one DisplayPort on my monitor, on my motherboard, and split that to 3 more monitors, which are my upper monitors up here. Then, as you can see, obviously I'm running Ethernet and hard connections for all of my microphone, headphones, keyboard, and mouse. Now I have a second keyboard here. People might be wondering about that. A lot of times I will have a second laptop sitting here just as an emergency backup computer, and I have a second hardwired keyboard and mouse for that as well. You can see I do have an antenna, so I can do Wi-Fi if needed, but that's not my choice. If given the option, I'm always going to go with Ethernet. So now as far as accessories go, I have a little Samsung T5 portable SSD that I can bounce between my desktop and my laptop. And then I also have a USB-C hub for additional ports. Now as far as accessories to the computer, I have a Razer headset and Razer speakers, and I have a Shure MV6 microphone. And as far as webcam, it's just the Logitech for streamers webcam. So looking at the monitors here now, these are, like I said, 27-inch LG 1440p, and I believe 120 hertz. They might be 240 hertz, I can't remember. I do have them running on 60 hertz though, just because of the amount of monitors. You're kind of limited by your hertz when you're running 6 monitors off the DisplayPort, especially with the DisplayPort hub, where I'm splitting the one DisplayPort 1.4 to 3 other monitors. It's limited to 60 hertz at 1440p. Now sitting at the desk here and looking at the monitors, again, you can see the layout that I go with. On the right-hand side, I look at the candle charts, which is Thinkorswim. That's where I do my technical analysis. On an intraday basis, I typically am looking at the 15-minute chart and the 2-minute chart. I will occasionally pull up other things and look at other things depending on what the driving factors are in the market. And then front and center is my Sierra chart footprint chart. I'm looking at 5-point range bars that open up on here. I use this to execute my actual orders on, as well as looking at the order flow on the volume profile and the 5-point range bars that open up that show me pretty much the volume profile delta by price. Then looking at the left-hand side here, you can see I have Discord, and like I said, First Squawk, where I look at news events that happen, and Bookmap. This is my favorite order flow tool. This is how I use the heat map and the bubble chart to kind of see real-time order flow as it hits the market, and the depth of market, where I can really see a nice breakdown on the passive versus aggressive buyers and sellers as they come into the market. So this is the overview, guys. And additionally, so to be able to connect all these monitors to my desktop down here, I did have to buy 10-foot DisplayPort cables. I'll put those in the link as well. And I had to buy a couple extenders for the accessories, like USB-C extenders and USB-A extenders for my keyboard and mouse and stuff like that, just so I could route it as best I could through the desk and down to the desktop as cleanly as possible, but still a little bit of cable management is still needed. So that is it, guys. By popular demand, a complete overview of my trading desk setup, all the monitors, the hardware, the software, everything that I use for trading. Hopefully you found this insightful, and if you did, please drop a like and share. That's all I ask. That helps me out a ton, and I'll see you in the next video.